There we go.
Yeah.
Here we are.
You did it.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 68 of the Collectin and Connectin Pod. I'm
68.
68. You know, we're almost at.
Oh, man, I was off by one.
So close. I'm one of your hosts, BananaMac, and one of my fellow co-hosts is the man right over here or over here, whatever side it is. Say hey, Coultin. How are you?
What up? How y'all doing?
He's back, ready. Next up, our other co-host is the one, the only, our mayor himself. Treat a guest down in the corner.
What up? What up? Glad to be here, fam.
And our very special guest today, one of my personal favorites out of the Jurassic pack, RICHDMC. Love the merch.
Good. How you doing? How you doing?
How are you? We're so excited to have you here.
I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful Friday, early fall. It feels still like summer a bit out here in Toronto. Yeah, great day.
Great day.
Well.
Rich, can you get your hat closer to your camera? I want to see that thing. I have never seen the hat.
Nice.
This might be a little bit of a captain's commission.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, I got you.
Yeah, so we're always lucky enough, and Nicole's repping the pack. We were so lucky that when we first joined as a community, one of our founders is a bit of a graphic artist, savant, Sush, and so he's always been able to come up with cool logos for our community. So one behind,
like it.
Original one, and then this was our sort of origins hat, which would obviously an allusion back to the Dino era. And so we've done some obviously some cool merch over the years, and happy to have our newest round of merch on the Collectin and Connectin website.
Nice.
So cool stuff on there that I don't have, but obviously being the captain, I might have some personal items that maybe other folks can't quite get. But yeah,
I need to get. Obviously, I'm a Jazz captain, but I've always wanted to grab a few items of merch from some of the other teams. It's funny because I wouldn't normally wear like a Raptors hat or Raptors shirt, just I'm a Jazz guy. But
I wouldn't wear a Jazz jersey.
But when it comes to this space, I want to get merch from all the team communities because it's different. You know what I mean? You feel like you're supporting your homies. Sure. And I gotta say, since day one, I've been jealous of your guys' name. It's so good. Jurassic Pack, there's so many things you can do with your logos. It's hard to pick a name.
I kind of fell into our lap, obviously, a little bit. We'll take a little bit of credit being one of the two people who simultaneously coined the name of our community. But it was kind of, sitting in our lap, obviously the play on park and pack, and the community already having the Jurassic Park and pack theme. And again, Sush gets all the props and credits for taking that and running with it and really making a brand, I think, that resonates and people remember immediately. So yeah, for sure.
It's great name. Love it.
I advocated when we were starting our Jazz community, we needed a name. I tried for the 9 Wives Lounge.
Oh, I remember those days. That was legendary. I don't know that would have cast the PC police.
It didn't.
I like that a lot.
But I was dead serious on 9 Wives Lounge.
I wouldn't forget it though. See,
And then we had the Jazz Lounge, which was awesome. But we couldn't make merch because you can't have Jazz in the title and have it look, like a Jazz logo or anything without copyright concerns. So,
on that subject of polygamy,
let's talk polygamy.
Bad idea. I'm happily married. Right, over 30 years now. But dude, what a terrible idea!
I know.
I cannot. I struggle every day to make sure I'm just being thoughtful and listening to the one wife I have.
I'm failing miserably deficient at one, so I don't think I need more.
What dummy decided, hey, let's multiply these challenges? I just don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you that when you go down to southern Utah at the Arizona border, The polygamous town that's close is actually in Arizona, Colorado City. It's such a trip to go through it. None of the houses are finished so that they can avoid some tax stuff, and the polygamous women, you'll see them like in St. George, a town in southern Utah. They are so grumpy all the time. And I try to talk to them, and they do not want to talk to, I forget what they call non-polygamists, but they do not want to talk to us. But there's really not nearly as many polygamists as people think, and they're in Arizona, not Utah, ironically. But anyways,
listen, I remember doing a little research on Mormonism, and my wife and I were discussing it, and you kind of get into the future things, like what's going to happen if you follow Mormonism in the future. I won't get into the details, like you get to have your own planet and blah blah blah. She's like, yeah, a dude came up with that. Like, no woman wants her eternity to be, let's go populate a planet.
Yeah, I can confirm that a dude came up with that. But
anyway,
before I get myself into trouble,
the Mormonism episode.
What a way to start.
We should talk about populating our Top Shot accounts.
Yeah, we should.
New users. I mean, did you see that everybody was piling on that they had 19 new users? And it's like, hey, I like it. If there's only 19, then we each adopt one user, right?
Yeah.
And we suck them into community, man.
I'm trying to figure out how can they not link the names of the accounts to that if there's only 19? I mean, back in the days, it was a couple thousand, maybe not, but they should just here they are.
yeah.
Send
them a moment. Welcome to the community.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, man. Yeah, if you let everybody, if you let our fam know who these we hook them up, man.
Yeah.
With moments of their favorite teams and favorite players.
Yeah,
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those low numbers, I mean, they should at least put the teams so we could get a hold of them and send them a moment.
Yeah.
That's right. That'd be amazing. Like that kind of, it's like a welcome basket from
low hanging fruit, I kind of think, but maybe more technically challenging than I imagined. But hey,
no, can't be right. I mean, now they hired Samuel D. He fix everything.
we got an in now again to the community. So
yeah.
So what's new, Rich? What's new in your space?
What's new in my space? Oh, I feel like I've kind of retreated a little bit to back to being a collector, which has been kind of nice. Not to say that the captain's job was like a huge burden or anything like that. And not to say that I'm not being the captain anymore, but as everybody kind of knows, the program simmers down a little in the summertime, and it's simmered down in general over the kind of years as we try to pivot and figure out the best use of funds and resources. And I appreciate that and can understand that. So I've kind of recharged myself and by re-embracing being a collector and finishing up some sets and some of my collecting habits and weird things that I do, and just enjoying being part of the community. Those folks who are still sticking around, it feels like there's a real good core still that, I think we all kind of know each other now, and there's a lot of those fences that have been dropped. So it's a lot of fun. Having people that we can exchange moments with, people who know what you're collecting and are looking out for you. A lot of that kind of competition and some of the toxicity is abated in the community by happenstance as well. So it's been a lot of fun just collecting my again. I always try to think about, like, if I had to summarize if I had to put into 3 things or folders, like groups of things that I collect. Drones, obviously, Raptors, and then I think my third thing would be sets, which kind of conflates with the first one, which is like the thing I collect most is drone sets. So I've always got my various drone sets that I'm trying to complete, and actually I'm getting down to only a couple that I've got left open that are a few moments left, and so I'll have to figure out what my next mission will be on that front. So
clarify for me, when you say a drone set, you're saying you complete sets with only using palindrome moments?
Yeah, that's kind of my
sicko.
It's a lot easier these days with the moments being slightly more reasonable in price. And also, yeah, as I say, way back in the day when I first started doing it, it was like a mission. It would be really difficult to do because the moments would be flying and you try to grab one and they'd be gone and nobody knew that I was really collecting them. So I didn't get any help. So it would take a while. But nowadays, like people will kind of just DM me and be like, hey, got this one, are you looking for it? And I'll be able to switch somebody some note. And they're just a little bit more reasonable in price, as I say. So I was able to finish up some sets. I'm not as much of a sicko as, I don't know, been seeing some chatter in Discords lately with some of the beta. I've been enjoying beta as well. Beta has been a lot of fun. Cool community. They were talking about like cereals that people collect the other day, because I think you had to have a stack of 20 of one specific moment. And I always keep on trying to tell people, like, yeah, I collect drones and people know me for drones and I'm visible in the community. But the real sicko when it comes to drones is Matthew. MX. Like he's got repeater drones, which are like the pièce de résistance of drones out the yazoo. He's like a voracious machine. Every time I see one on the live token, it's like red, gone. I click on who got it. Sure enough, Matthew. I sometimes secretly think he has a drone bot, but I'm not sure.
Hey, that's a bot worth having.
Yeah. And that's still the one algorithm I want them to be able to sort for in any of these search tools, OTM or live token or whatever. It's like, yeah, you can search for a specific cereal, but I want to search for a type of cereal. There's got to be a mathematical formula that you can plug in. And maybe I can talk to Alex and get him to send me the mathematical formula for a drone, and we could somehow code the machine to find them.
Bring that up to the people at Floaty. I'm telling you.
Yeah,
they get on it.
NBL, which you get help me out.
Those are people. How do you feel about Vince Carter with the jersey retirement?
Did you see today? They've been there's apparently like 200 of his. So the Raptors are going through a whole 30th. It confuses me though, because it's not really their 30th anniversary yet. Like next season will formally be their 30th season, I think, or 31st. Anyways, it was 95, 96, 94, 95 when they were found, but they're doing a bunch of throwbacks with the team branding. So purple is now back, if you've probably seen anything in Raptors lately. And they've got a new jersey and the new city jersey, which is kind of like 2000 era jersey, which is ironic to me again, because it's like the cycles of these things is hilarious, because we went through that era and everybody got so sick of that jersey that they were like, we need something new. And then they went to the red and white. And then everybody got sick of that one. And so we're back to that being fashionable again. Everything that's old is new again. So
that's true.
Jersey that Vince wore in the dunk contest, there's 200 of them, Vince Carter emblazoned around the city, just hanging there looking for people to find them, because they're promoting his Hall of Fame inclusion and the fact that the Raptors are retiring his number this year. So a lot of stuff on that. How do you feel about it, Nicole? So I always think it's interesting to me because I'm from a certain era, and so I have a certain opinion about Vince, I would say, that might not necessarily always shared with everybody.
I have the like nostalgic, was alive but not functioning kind of memory. So I look back at Vince's era and I've seen it all on repeat, right? Like I could watch it live. So I like it. I'm excited that he's a first jersey being retired, but I've been seeing on Twitter a lot of people think Lowry should be it. But see, he's still playing and I don't feel like we should wait for him. I don't know. I'm pro Vince. Retire it.
Yeah. So that's interesting to me because I think there's definitely an age distinction in how people feel about Vince. So those who were kind of a little older and lived through the era firsthand, maybe hold or linger a little bit more resentment than and even like I know the guys in the Jurassic Pack who were probably like early teenagers in the Vince years. I was in my early 20s, so just giving my age away, early to mid 20s through the Vince era, and so I was a little bit more cynical and hardened by his exit from Toronto, which was very, very messy, and he didn't do himself any favors whatsoever by his approach to the fans and the media. I think he'd admit himself that he didn't really do himself any favors. Like a whole sordid story that they wrote documentaries about and books about and things like that. And the management sucked. And I don't begrudge him leaving the Toronto, but just the taste in the mouth of passionate fans at the time was one that was really hard to forgive for a long time, I think. And so even I've forgiven him. I cried when they played his sort of nostalgic video, and everybody kind of got over it in Toronto, shall we say, and started cheering him instead of booing him when he came back with opposing teams. I was on board with that, and I love him, and I can look back with nostalgia at the times. And I mean, he was the reason that I became a huge Raptors fan again. I think I talked on the last time I was on the show. When they first started, they were a bit like amateurish and just childish to me, and that was not cool with where I was in my life. And so I was like, okay, yeah, they're from Toronto, I should cheer for them, but I didn't have a real identity with the team. And the strike shortened season 98-99, Vince's rookie season, was just a revelation for me. Like, just the way that they played. They got Oakley. They played a totally different brand of basketball, much more hard-nosed. And I just fell in love with that team and that era. And so, yeah, I can look back at those and think about all the incredible things he did. The cool RIB Origins moment coming out from his rookie year when he dunked on Mutombo. I remember that, and just jumping around my apartment at the time, just being like, holy shit, we got one of these guys, pardon my language. Like, cause you're always jealous of those guys, right? Every other team seemed to get one of those guys. And Toronto never had any cool players, I don't think. T-Mac was, you could tell he had some talent, but he was a bit of gangly and a bit of a Bambi in his time in Toronto. And so it was only when Vince arrived that he got some edge and became a cool kind of guy at that era that you wanted to cheer for. Vince totally put basketball on the map in Canada, in Toronto especially. There's some debate about whether we'd still have a franchise if it wasn't for him, given the political era in the late 90s, when unfortunately Vancouver lost their franchise. A lot of people say if we didn't have Vince, we would have been gone the same way. I don't think that's the case, but he definitely put us on the map. I remember vividly watching the All-Star game, dunk contest, and just feeling this reverberation from south of the border of, oh, wow, they got something up there. And suddenly we were on NBC and on national televised games, even though we couldn't watch them up here. We had to watch our local version and broadcast, but you knew that we were suddenly for real, and people took us as a real franchise, I think, from that point forward. So, yeah, I owe a lot to Vince, but there's still this feeling of like a girlfriend who did you wrong. And so you're never totally going to get over that.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it's unpopular opinion on my end. I kind of wonder if the Nets retiring his jersey put pressure on Toronto.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's weird that they announced it first, because I just thought Toronto would, because it put us on the map, and that's how I feel. Yes, I didn't like how it went down, but putting a team on the map, and in Toronto, it's hard to hold players here. Any of our teams, minus hockey, because we're a very hockey country, but like basketball and baseball, a lot of people don't want to be here, I find.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. No, yeah. So I think you asked, you said earlier also, people say they wish it would be Lowry. Obviously, Lowry would be like a 10 out of 10. Like, there's no flaws on his resume as a Raptor. That's why he's the GOAT. That's why everybody like loves him. He's infallible here, because he didn't have any of those things that we could look back and feel this tinge of like, oh, what about if? What if? Vince will always have that what if. Bosch will always have that what if. DeMar didn't get to finish out his tenure. So you can do what you can do. Lowry keeps on playing. He'll get a statue, though. He'll be our first statue.
Oh,
that'll be a thick statue.
Yeah. I hope it's him taking charge. I just want it to be him, like, taking charge.
Yeah.
Great. I love it.
Yeah, I relate to having a franchise that can't keep players because nobody wants to be there, and never having cool players.
Yeah, the Jazz might even be more in that territory, right?
Yeah.
Johnny Boy was peak efficiency and a master.
But he's a GOAT, but nobody's watching John Stockton highlights anymore. I mean, I still do because his passing was unreal, but yeah. And then the mailman got canceled.
I loved him because I guess this was like maybe the full hockey player in me. I never played hockey growing up. I was too tall and lanky. I didn't play basketball either, unfortunately, because it didn't really exist in Canada all that much until the mid to late 90s, until Vince, as we were just talking about, really put it on the map. I think that was maybe the thing, that side of me, is that I loved every tough and dirty player growing up in basketball. So I love John Stockton, because you see him just elbowing guys in the nuts. Around and grabbing guys and stuff like that, and just all those things that you knew he had to do.
Yep.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
When you're 6'1", you do what you want. You're not dirty at 6'1". Come on, Dennis Rodman, quit crying.
Yeah, you're just surviving, baby.
Yeah, exactly, dude. T-Mac, what do you got? I feel like T-Mac's the most overrated player of the last, like,
really?
I don't know, 25, 50 years. Is that a hot take?
That's hot.
I'd say that's pretty hot. I think there might be some debate about where he ranks in the pyramid of things from his lack of ability to take teams to the promised land. But I think there's maybe I would think there's probably a sway in the popular opinion the other way, is that he's underrated. Is that people rank him too low compared to his natural God-given talents and some of the things he did. I think some people forget some of those dominant years he had in Orlando and Houston when he was competing for scoring titles, but also playing some pretty crazy defense and other stuff like that. So maybe that's my bias.
I'm going to try to figure out if he ever made it past the first round of the playoffs. Oh, well, no,
I think he did with Houston, right?
The Jazz beat them in the
all right. Who's more overrated, T-Mac or Paul George?
Oh, man.
I would go Paul George every day.
I was going to say Paul George too.
Yeah, I really dislike Paul George, so it's hard for me to like be open-minded and not biased, but I still would think Paul George. Well, I mean, Paul George plays better defense than T-Mac did.
It always feels like he's, with the Thunder and then with the Clippers, it was this, oh wow, super team, right?
I never got it myself. I remember when Kawhi dumped us for Paul George, being like, really? That's the guy you chose?
That was crazy.
That's the guy you chose? Really? Yeah. Like, what is he going to do alongside you, except for be a worse version of you?
Right.
The whole team did good from day one, in my opinion. Harden, George, Kawhi, or whatever. Nah. I just hated how he played with Toronto during that time. Like, pretending like he was going to sign with us, but his whole goal was always to go back home to LA.
Oh, Kawhi?
Hot take from BananaMac.
Pardon?
Well,
hot take from BananaMac.
That's a very hot take.
I was like not impressed. I don't know. He came, he won the championship, but if we didn't win that, we lost a guy who loved the city for a guy who gave us 1 year. So like,
wow.
If we did not win that year, that was going to be like defined as one of the worst trades in Toronto history, in my opinion. Turned out to be one of the best because we won it. But there was that whole risk. If that shot did not happen in that game against the Sixers, that whole storyline would be totally different. And we just like shattered DeMar, who loved the city, and I still love the guy. Like, I have a hot take.
That's an interesting, man, that's a really hot take there. This loyalty versus a championship. Like, what's.
Yeah, that would definitely be a hot take in Raptors Reddit world. Raptors Reddit world is shadow over DeMar DeRozan.
I think any guy who's loyal to the city, I mean, I think that says something.
Maybe it's getting too intertwined with the whole Kendrick Drake thing now, and there's too many other subplots going on. But yeah, Raptors Reddit world is undecided on DeMar now. It appears.
Well, didn't he say he needs to sign a 1 day or something to?
Yeah, but he was back in town recently promoting his book, and he got lots of money there. So I think these things are overhyped and over. You live in the echo chambers and you hear certain portions of the population.
I never thought I'd hear him say that, honestly.
Back to T-Mac, he won 3 playoff series, is what I'm finding here.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
That's not good.
But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
I tell you, all right. Let me ask you this, Coultin. You're in the situation that BananaMac's talking about. You gotta give up somebody you love on your team that's been loyal to the franchise. You got to sacrifice him for an NBA championship. Do it.
Absolutely.
Even question. You do it absolutely.
Yeah.
Do it.
You know how hard it is to win a championship?
Absolutely.
It's not even. I mean, the Jazz have. I wish I had the stats up in front of me. The Jazz have so many more playoff wins than people realize.
Right.
John Stockton never missed the playoffs. Not once. Didn't miss the playoffs. So, and he was winning playoff series, by the way, T-Mac. But it's so hard to win a championship. Like, so many things have to break right for your team. You got to hit a crazy buzzer beater where the ball bounces on the rim 17 times and it drops.
Some fortunate injuries on some of the
other you got to not play against Michael Jordan. I would give my left what for a championship. I mean,
Coultin's on record. Trade his favorite player and his left for an NBA championship.
It can have them both, actually. I don't know if Utah will ever get a championship because it's so nearly impossible.
I agree.
And you have to have
it's underrated. It's underrated how hard it is. When you look at the number of players that were a top 3 player on a championship team, the list is so exclusively small. The same players keep on going. So if you don't have one of those, if you aren't the Lakers, the Celtics,
right,
like one of those teams that lucks out to get one of those players or can draw them in free agency, your chances are so infinitesimal that's why unfortunately, Nicole, I'm on the other side. I love DeMar, but he was never going to get there for us. And I traded it. That would deal with the devil at the crossroads, take that championship, and Kawhi walking away and breaking our hearts every day.
Yeah,
I'll never forget where I was during the parade. I'll never forget how happy I felt when that shot did go in. I'll never forget. No offense, Kevin Durant, how relieved I felt when he blew his Achilles out. And I didn't cheer, but I just felt like, oh, that's really too bad. That's just too bad for you guys. It really is. Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
He made me so mad during that because he taunted Raptors fans about coming back for those games. And then when he gets hurt and the whole stadium lights up cheering, he's like, victim. And he's like, they're never enjoy it now. You're never going to win another championship. And it's like, buddy, you literally have been in the media saying that you're going to cream us. You're coming back. You're taunting us every day. It's hurt and we're happy. I hate that I have to own his moment on Top Shot. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
Really?
Him and Draymond Green are my 2 least favorite players in the league. You heard it here first. I hate owning their moments, but I have to.
You're not going to enjoy it when Drake recruits KD to Toronto?
I'll be livid. And definitely if my boy Grady Dick has to go or Scotty Barnes, not for me. Keep those young
I'm loving the insight into the BananaMac value system. All right, like forget a championship, stay loyal, but
stay loyal.
I'm going to own my most hated players for fast break. So this is a whole psychological thing we got going here with you, BananaMac. Like you're committed to the win on fast break, but in real life, loyalty is more important.
Loyalty, ride or die. Fast break's a game, I'm not worried about my Katie Draymond like cereals. I don't want their like jerseys. None of that matters. Okay. I just got them because I need them on my roster to pull through the win.
Do you have a legendary? Is it legend? Will you own a legendary of those guys for fast break or just stay rare?
Legendary.
Wow.
Because
that's significant.
She rolls deep.
You have a KD Lego?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the Top Shot 50 set.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
It's in that set.
Draymond is my most hated player in the league by 300 miles.
I can't stand the dude. That's my hot take. He sees this and then he acknowledges Collectin and Connectin because that could be huge for us too.
Yeah.
Rich, who's your most hated player?
I was just trying to think. I was like, man, usually this would be like bam, I can fire off 5. I don't know that there's many people that I hate these days. Maybe I'm too soft in my olden days. The players I used to bug me the most, because maybe it's also that the media training has gotten better. You don't say stupid stuff. So it wasn't so much on the court that I had people that I hate, although like there's dirty players. Oh, Goran Dragic I hated. And he's gone now. That's fine. That was like petty. That was petty though. But his players who had like a sense of entitlement, and they were just like, you could tell that they were just dumbass jerks in real life.
Yeah.
Now they didn't appreciate where they were. They didn't appreciate anything about that. We used to have a bunch of them in Toronto, right? Who'd roll through town and shit all over the city, shit all over Canada. And you'd be like, what are you doing? And those were easy people to hate. So I don't have too many of them nowadays. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I'm more of there's certain teams, right, that, you know, like I just can't stand Philly. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, probably Embiid. Yeah, I'd have to say probably Embiid.
Yeah, and
he's dirty. He's dirty in a bad way, and
right.
He's just immature and doesn't.
If he played for somebody else, maybe I might be less. But yeah, he played for Philly. Just got a serious problem with him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's another player I don't really like. I've tried to want to give him respect for the way he plays sometimes, but then he just does dumb stuff. Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Oh, like so much potential and talent, but he just can't seem to get his shit together. And then he seems like over celebrate in inappropriate moments, and he just doesn't seem to be connected with what's really going on.
He over celebrates.
He's trying to live up to someone else's perception of what he should be as a player. I don't think he knows who he is as a person.
He's like LeBron's sidekick.
Yeah.
That's how I view that man.
You know, you get sucked into that sidekick gig like I have with King Brad. It's tough.
Yeah,
the great ones just draw you in.
Ever since the Queso endorsement, you know, things have really changed for that guy.
I have to say though, back in the day, Treat, most of my least favorite players were Celtics, obviously.
I understand. I do. I get it. Especially when, you know, you guys are, your franchises are struggling to, you know, win one, and I'm celebrating 18. Like I get it. I totally understand that.
I would say it was more the problem because I don't have as much of a problem with them now, which is weird.
Yeah.
You think I would because they won the championship last year, but I guess we're not really competing on the same level.
Right.
The Pierce Garnett years were tough.
Yeah.
They were tough to swallow. Like Garnett was just deplorable. And I respected him, but he also, like, I don't know, Nicole, I don't know if you remember this. Maybe you were a bit young. He also punked Jose Calderon in a really, really bad way, which was just like, what are you doing, guy? You're 6'11". Yeah. Jose Calderon is the most gentlemanly, kind-hearted guy in the league. He's never going to do anything, and you're on your hands and knees growling at him like a dog.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And
KG couldn't turn it off, right? And so he just was just all
He's from that. There was somewhere it switched where, like, you know, that generation and before, there was real hatred and animosity. And now it seems like everybody's friends. Like they're all buddies. They played, you know, they've been playing AAU and stuff together since they were, you know, little. Because these guys get identified so young now that they're future NBA players, that they're all. So there was definitely more of that back in the day, where now they seem to all know each other and get along. I think but that was part of what it felt like the Celtics needed to win, is that kind of. Also, I think another thing about that Celtics era was the Danny Ainge effect. Like Ainge, your boy,
comes from the
shout out Mormons.
Yeah, you know,
he was peak asshole. He was asshole.
Just cutthroat. Like if you're trading with Danny Ainge, you're losing. You know that, right? And Brad Stevens seems like such a nice guy, and you know, this team does get a lot of criticism no matter what. You know, like, hey, they won it, but they had an easy road, whatever that means, right? I mean, I was ecstatic as anybody that Dallas or that the Timberwolves beat Denver. Like, but everybody knew that, right? Everybody knew going in, Denver was the team to beat. And so they get knocked out early.
Make no apologies, Treat. I look back on our year and no apologies.
Yeah. It's so hard to win a championship. Yeah.
So
and Luka is on another planet of good.
But you can bring him down to earth. You can bring him down to earth, don't you, Coultin?
I try. I do my best. It's pretty easy to get in his head.
That's what I'm talking about.
If I can do it.
Everybody's head, though, and he can take it. That's the problem with him, right?
Yeah.
He wants 20,000 people to think that they're in his face.
Right. Yeah.
What must that be like, right? I mean, especially when they silence.
Treat, come on, man. What are you talking about? You've hit some shots that we've seen on the internet back in the day that were like, how the hell do you hit that? Who does that?
Yeah, I mean, and you think about what would my life be if I'd have missed that shot, right? I carried confidence from one shot the rest of my life. Like, I can do anything. I made the shot, but if you miss that shot,
I was a pretty good kid athlete. Not by any means like when I got older. I like to say I was like almost world class until I was probably about 9 years old, because I was tall, but I was coordinated, and I just dominated my elementary school and the city championships. And so there was a while there where I had that feeling of zen that you hear athletes describe, like high level athletes, where you feel like you can see the field, like the Matrix opening up before you, and the game slows down. Like never when I was competing against actual like adults or anything like that, but I had that feeling. And so in my mind, I can still picture the feeling of just like flicking the ball with the flick of your wrist from half court and just being like, that's in. And then I go inside to my driveway and I try to take a free throw, and I'm like, that came up 4-3 short. You got to get the knees into it, take a full-on jump shot to hit a free throw now.
Treat walks into City Hall now and everything slows down.
That's right. Some days.
He's pathways to policies.
His receptionist comes
to the left.
Yeah, I was getting chewed out yesterday by a resident angry about their water bill, and life slowed down. Really? Yes, sir. You're right, sir.
It is ridiculous that we have to pay so much for water. Yes, we know it comes from the clouds. It does come from the clouds. You're right.
Yeah. I'm an idiot. But hey, listen, full disclosure, college basketball humbled me significantly. I thought I was good, and then I got to play, go to UCA, which at that time was NAIA, so it wasn't even NCAA, and we were good. But man, I was so far down at the end of the bench, I couldn't even see the court. So I think about that even at low level college, how good those guys were. And then that's why I love the NBA. It's because I watch these guys and I think, the talent on those courts. And then again, why I love collecting Top Shot. I watch these moments and I'm just in awe of what these guys can do with a basketball. It's crazy good.
Just, there's the pure odds, right? Like how many people do you see in a year that are almost 7 feet tall?
Yeah.
There weren't any in my school or in the schools around my, there weren't.
Only when I go to a Jazz game.
Like they just come out of nowhere. And no offense, anybody who was taller than me, I'm 6'3", that I knew was uncoordinated as hell.
Right.
Slow as anything, had no foot speed. They were not playing professional basketball. So like the pyramid of selection to get to the point where these guys are 6'8", 6'9", can jump 36 inches, can shoot with the accuracy of anybody way better than anybody we know.
Yeah.
Just it's incredible.
Well, and then because of
you take it for granted, right? You see them on this court and everything shrinks. And you just looks like you go home and you try it yourself and it's like, oh, that'll put you in your place real quick.
And because of my NBA Top Shot collection, I've seen Embiid, in live. I've seen Zion. I've seen Garnett. I've seen Jimmy Butler. I saw Derrick Rose have one of his last really outstanding performances. Like because of my NBA Top Shot collection, I've seen so many of these players live. And then, like you're saying, when you see it live, Embiid is interesting. That dude is massive.
Yeah.
I mean, he dwarfs NBA players. And to see his skill, Kyrie, I know he got great handles, but then I saw it live and I'm like, this is otherworldly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing experience for sure.
Yeah, the sheer athleticism these days is what kills me, because I was lucky enough back in the late 90s. A buddy of mine worked for Nike, and so he had some courtside seats that he was able to procure to the Raptors. And Coultin, you'll love this. They were playing the Jazz, and so I got to go down. We all kind of, like, four of us shared one quarter each with my buddy down on the floor, and then we had nosebleeds for the rest of the game. But just seeing Karl Malone up close, like, the dude's arms were a torso on a person. And then Greg Ostertag walks by and he's even bigger.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I mean, he wasn't so as impressive because he wasn't so athletic, but you're just like, I've never seen a human.
Yeah.
Those proportions. His calves were bigger than my body.
Yeah.
And he
had a stupid, like, I'm trying to remember, he had a dumb tattoo on his calf.
Yeah, Fred
Really
Flintstone.
dumb.
Yeah.
What was it?
Fred Flintstone. It helps you appreciate the little guys so much more, like Stockton, Steph, the little dudes that they could hang with massive Kyrie, getting. It's like,
good.
What the hell?
Power outage.
We just went Matrix slow-mo. The stream slowed down for me.
But as you're saying, Treat, the point I was gonna make is that, as impressive as Karl Malone and Greg Ostertag were back in the day, and Antonio Davis, who was with the Raptors, those guys are like a size of guys now, but they're uber athletic. Right? So it's like Zion or someone like that is just a freak, because not only are they huge, but they move so great. Like Jaren Jackson, I was lucky enough to go to a Treat, as you say, thanks to Top Shot, able to go to a Raps Memphis game and watch the pregame warm up from close to the floor. And you're just like, that guy is so big, but then he just gracefully dances around the court, jumps 4 feet in the air, shoots threes. And you're just like, what world are we living in?
It's funny. I would encourage everybody, as I get older, like, I never want to go to a game if the seats are in the nosebleeds. Like, it's not worth the effort of finding a babysitter and all this stuff. But if you go to a game, even if you have nosebleed tickets, if you get there an hour early, you can go down most arenas and sit third row. The ushers don't care. And man, I encourage anybody and everybody to get there early, even if you're going to leave at halftime. Like, if you can get there early and go down, like you're saying, and just watch players warm up, it's incredible to see how big they are and how
it is.
Yeah, there's
just like the shooting percentages in warm-ups are insane.
Right? They don't miss.
Like, when these guys are open at the 3-point line, they're hitting 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, like the center who doesn't take a shot in the game will make like 7 out of 10 threes with nobody there. Like, it's nothing. And these aren't like high school gym threes. These are NBA threes.
Yeah. Rudy Gobert will make them.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone. Yeah.
And actually, Nicole, maybe you could vouch for this as well. I'd also encourage folks, check out your G League team as well.
Yeah.
Like, you can get really great tickets courtside for not that much a lot of times. And those guys are incredible. Like, you see guys who are in the NBA.
Yeah, I got to see Christian Coloco and somebody else. There was some other rookie at the time who was dropped down to the G League, who I got to see when we went there for the Jurassic Pack, for the friends and family or whatever it was. Exactly.
Yeah.
Title. But
really
cool.
Cool.
There's talent down there. And it's a smaller arena, so even if you're up high, you have a really great view, like perfect of the court.
Yeah, like, the NBA is doing a good job of utilizing the G League more now than they did 10 years ago, where players are coming in and out, kind of like AAA baseball to Major League. Like, you see NBA talent in the G League all the time.
It's so exciting to go see them. And I love seeing like the rookies. Like, I'm one of those people who I hate when a rookie starts out in a season and everyone calls him a bust. and they give them no time to adjust because I'm like, these guys are talented.
Oh, Grady Dick. Oh, Grady Dick.
Players? Never heard of the guy. Only that guys. But yeah, like he's got great talent, but people right off the bat were like, he can't shoot. It's like, but he's phenomenal. He can hit those threes when he does. He just got to get in the rhythm. And the team was in a rebuild last year too. That did not help.
So, Rich, I have a question for you. Kind of off topic, but as the season approaches for whatever we're going to call it, 24-25, you could only collect one rare set. What would it be?
I would go MGLE.
Okay.
I'm a stand for the simplicity of MGLE. I think again, these things are always like imprinted on you when you join. I think like the cohort in which you. So when I joined, MGLE was like the flagship. We were only in S2, so there wasn't like a whole plethora of other stuff. In S2, they really cut back on the rare sets. So like Rising Stars was one I didn't really love all that much. The All-Star Game rare set I didn't love either, and so I like the way that the MGLE set looked in comparison to the base set. Where it was sort of like, okay, this is the natural progression of an upgrade to this, and then the Lego. It felt like a completion. Like if I was hoping to ever get all the Raptors, it would be nice to have the sort of, okay, you got your base, you got your MGLE, and you have your hollow. So I always liked MGLE. So I would, especially now that they've curated it down to 3 players per team. You tend to get the best players in the league in that set. Good plays, a mixture of plays, not just all dunks, not just all.
That's a good call.
Yeah, I would go MGLE. That's my set. I've never finished one, never come close, but maybe someday.
Yeah. Treat.
Oh, rare set. Man, that's a tough one because
the Celtics are going to win the title again, so you're going to have your playoff rare set, right?
Exactly. I got to focus on that playoff rare set. I might go video game numbers. I'm looking at I did and this is how it ends up happening for me. Like I did the video games number. I guess it was S4 that Tatum was an award.
Yeah.
And so I've got all those to get that Tatum. And so now I'm going back to that video game number set, which Embiid is the bottleneck on that bad boy. So I'm looking at that. So, if I do anything rare, it won't be the VGN of 24-25, but I'll probably try to pick up that set from Series 4, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just because I already had some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would go for the win all the way.
Ah,
My favorite set.
You like that set, eh?
I love that set. I don't know, maybe it's not like winning, but I'm just always like, ever since I started on Top Shot, that was like the first set I actually went for. That was a rare set that I completed the challenges throughout the drop. Normally I like finish a set a year later when the prices are down a little. Yeah, I just feel attached to it for some reason. And I like it because it's always different. Like for the win, who's going to take that winning shot that night? I have like some beef with other sets because I don't need the same rare of this player like 6 times over, and that won't necessarily happen in the for the win set, which is what I like about it.
Yeah, and anyone could be on it.
Yeah.
What you gonna do, Coultin?
Man, yeah, MGLE is probably my favorite as well, but I think realistically I'm going to chase video game numbers this coming season because I can't afford to complete MGLE. When those come out, they're all $100 a piece. I can't do that, but maybe video game numbers this year. And the master set reward is so cool now that we can count on those for these sets. I really look forward to seeing. I'm hoping, a few years from now, like they're doing even more airdrops for people that have the entire set locked, because now it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to lock these whole sets.
Yeah.
You know, like this Anthony Edwards throwdowns, it's 299 mint, but it's like a $250 moment.
Yeah.
So that was a good idea by Top Shot to bring those in for every set, and I'm really hoping they utilize how difficult it is to hold those sets and give people that do hold those more airdrops, because it's expensive.
Yeah, I was casually looking at the Origin set from last year because I like the idea of having the rookie badges in the rare set. But then you look at the challenge rewards and you're like, oops, oh yeah, right. I guess I won't be finishing that set.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't have $68,000 for a Jokic or whatever.
Yeah.
Not gonna
100%.
That's my issue when I try to chase a legendary set. And I was like, oh, it's off season. Prices aren't that bad. I can chase it for a few years. It's going to be a lot harder than I thought. Those challenge rewards are ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm just like waiting, hoping people unlock. But the problem with unlocking is their lock Top Shot score is insane.
Yeah.
Like, why unless you're selling? That's like the hard part. It was smart on Top Shot.
Yeah.
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 100%.
Well, and I think that's going to be interesting to see every year, right? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. Any closing thoughts? I mean, I feel like we've been talking not for long. It feels like 10 minutes, but
I don't know. Good
time.
Well, we got the season coming up. What are everybody's predictions?
Predictions?
Well, you know mine. Repeat, baby.
You're going on the
Who
repeat.
do you think they're going to be looking at in the West?
Well, I'm calling the it's going to be a Treaticus Finals, Grizzlies Celtics. That's my two favorite teams.
Back and they're going to take them through.
Oh yeah, Grizzlies young and hungry, everybody healthy, and then so I can't wait to see some of those finals games in Memphis. I'm going to win tickets because of my NBATOPSHOT collection.
Nice.
And then I'm going to sit courtside and get T-shirts and send them to Coultin.
Hell yeah.
You know, because he hooked me up last year.
Hell yeah.
Shirt. I don't have it on today because I had to rep the pack, but we did our nice little card deal.
Hey, there it is.
Hey.
Nice.
Let's go.
Look at that. I'm obsessed.
That's dope.
What do you got? What about you, Coultin? Who do you got?
Man, I keep wavering on this. I kind of think we're gonna see another Mavs Celtics finals.
Wow.
Run it back.
But I mean, Thunder. It's gonna be Thunder or Dallas. I think that's not really a hot take, but I think Dallas is. Even though they just made the finals, I still think they're kind of underrated. Like Derek Lively is going to be phenomenal. Luka is the best player in the world. I don't care what anyone says. Maybe Jokic. I don't know. I think it's Luka though. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to watch it play out.
Nicole?
I think Grady Dick's going to be an all-star, and I'm going to say OKC is a team to watch. I think like they're going to go to the finals straight up.
OKC,
Pardon?
OKC seems to be like the closet Canadian favorite team, second favorite team because of all the Canadians.
Yeah. How can you not love all the Canadians there?
Everybody loves Shea, Lou.
Okay.
Hell of a player.
He's phenomenal. Like
what you thinking? What you thinking, Rich? Who you got?
I would tend to agree that Boston has the inside edge, but there's always something that happens in that year afterwards.
Yeah.
The reason people don't go back to back that often, although it tends to happen in bunches, but I think those are when there's a dearth of other talent in the league. And I think there's just too much talent going around right now.
Yeah.
I could see New York being interesting. I don't know if Tibbs can take a team through the full, if they could like not be worn down, but if they get the injury situation on point, I could see them being a problem. In the West, it feels like, they might just beat the crap out of each other. And it might be a chance for the Eastern teams to kind of take a little bit of a run here, but I don't know. It always feels like you have an idea at the beginning of the season and there'll be some trades. Someone will get pissed and demand out and tank a franchise that thought it was going to have a chance. And inevitably some team will come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Expecting. So I'm looking forward to it all. I'm looking forward to Toronto. I want to see Scotty Barnes have a whole full season with RJ and Emmanuel quickly. Grady getting a chance to start the season in the starter's role. He's looked good. He's added some pounds. He's looking strong and athletic. So
it's going to be an elite team. I'm with you. I think it's going to be really exciting to see our Raptors this year. Hopefully we get hooked up with some tickets again.
Yeah, we'll have to see it.
Yeah.
Buy more moments, everyone, so we can do that.
Yeah.
This 19 new collector stuff we got to start onboarding people.
Yes.
We'll be 20 next week.
But
what a great episode, guys.
Wait till Nicole finishes her Lego set, though. Sorry.
Good point. Everybody stop buying Legendary Top Shot 50. Start selling them cheap. That is the solution. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. Treat, thanks for saving the world, taking time out of your busy mayor schedule.
Always a pleasure.
For just being part of us. You're an amazing co-host. And Rich, thank you for everything you do for the pack. You were an awesome guest to have on today. It was amazing talking to all you guys. I wish we could have stayed longer. That flew by.
Good day.
Yeah, it did.
Good time.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all soon.
Yeah.
Queso for Brett.
Yeah.
We had awesome hosts, awesome guests, good vibes. You know the deal. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching us. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you got a minute, check out our merch store at Shop Collectin and Connectin. Thanks, everyone. See you next Tuesday.